Madtown's #1 for hits and hip hop, 93.1 JAMZ Fusion in the afternoons. Community and culture inside out is about celebrating and elevating Black-owned businesses in and around Madtown. And with me today is Kaleem Caire, One City Schools. How you doing, Kaleem?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for coming in today. I also have Ray Noble, our former police chief. How you doing, Ray?
Doing real good, real good. And thanks for having us here.
Thank you guys for coming in. And I want to start with, thanks for coming back again and tell us a little bit. What's One City Schools' mission, and what are you up to here in Madison?
So our mission is to ensure that our kids are ready for college and careers post-high school. But, the intention of it is that our children are ready to take on the leadership roles that a lot of us hold, and do it better than we are. And so, we have to produce transformational leaders in this country. And I would argue in this world, young people that have both the skills and the aptitude, but also the motivation and drive to try to make things better for others. And so our mission and our educational program is wrapped around that ideal.
And you've spent years developing this model for One City Schools. You've been to DC, you've been all over the country studying other schools. You've brought a really unique opportunity here. Noble Ray, has said that people don't necessarily understand what One City Schools is up to and what you're doing. So could you maybe explain a little bit of the difference between what One City Schools is doing and what MMSD is offering?
Yeah, so some of the things that distinguish us, number one, we're a public charter school. We are similar in orientation to other public charter schools in other states across the country. Wisconsin's unique in that it has two types of charter schools, both public, but one that's run by districts and the other one that's run like other charter schools are across the country by independent entities. And because of that, people in Wisconsin call us private charter schools when there's really no such thing. All charter schools are public. And so we are run by a nonprofit called One City Schools, Inc. MMSD is run by a governmental entity called the Madison Metropolitan School District.
Right.
We also have a longer day and a longer year. Our students don't get out of school until July 19th.
Oh, wow.
So it's the third Friday of July every year. We start at the same time, that first Monday or Tuesday, whatever Labor Day falls, in September. And we also have an extra hour of school. And the purpose of that is we know we get a lot of young people that are behind academically. It takes longer for them to catch up. A lot of our students, unfortunately, also miss a lot of school in the middle of the year. And so for us to make up those days to make sure they get a good 180 days of instruction, we have that longer period.
Okay, so what are like the eligibility requirements or what does it take to enroll with One City Schools?
So similar to any other public school, all students can enroll with us, but what also makes us different is that we're chartered by the University of Wisconsin system. Well, now it's called Universities of Wisconsin. Okay. And because of that, our boundaries are the state of Wisconsin. So students can apply to us as long as they live anywhere in Wisconsin. If their children can get us there, get them there to us. And so that makes us unique, but we have to accept all comers. So if a student, we have two-part enrollment process. The first one is a blind process. We cannot discriminate based on disability, race, gender. Right. So there's a simple application. Families have to apply. If we have too many kids apply by grade level, for that grade level, say we have 40 seats available and 41 apply, we have to go to a lottery for all 41 and we rank them through an electronic lottery. So
it's fair. But that's fair.
And then we choose the top 40, the others go on a wait list. And so, but public schools, if they have magnet schools and specialty programs like that, they do the same thing.
They do the same thing, yeah. It's really popular in other cities and states. So it's not as big in Madison, but I've got friends in like New York and stuff. At the school year comes around and they're just like fretting, like, do we get in? Do we not get in? Like, and I mean, it's Madison has a good opportunity with schools, and for what you're doing with One City Schools takes it even further. So Noble Ray, you started with kind of in the Milwaukee area with schools and your connection to them. What kind of brought you into One City Schools in Madison?
Yeah, I grew up in Milwaukee, and some of the same issues that have been generational issues still exist, and that is issues related to challenged populations that have not been able to excel from an academic standpoint. What brought me close to One City Schools was this. is the idea that you can take a school that will explore, experiment, and actually reach some of the goals and challenge some of the norms and look at ways of educating our youth in a way without setting up roadblocks and exploring things that they haven't before. Just quickly, I'm a retired police chief from the city of Madison, Wisconsin. Been all over the United States. One of the things that Madison did in the 90s as a police department, we created an experimental police district. Okay. And we realized that if we wanted to see change for something that were creating barriers in policing, that we needed to take a small group and ask some very fundamental questions. How can you police a community from a community policing standpoint? From one city standpoint, and note it's one city, and that's sometimes people forget that one city. It's to take a school and look at what has created barriers and challenges, and we know what the barriers and challenges have been here locally. It's embedded in reports and initiatives like the Schools of Hope, that there were barriers in that we know that we saw that we needed to improve. The race to equity, that we have a very, in many ways, tale of two cities. And what Kaleem is doing here and what one city is doing is that a city cannot excel unless fundamentally the school excels, young people excels. He talked about one city has, what we're trying to do is create transformational leaders. In this society, we will always have change. How can our kids adapt? How can they excel? How can they meet the times that will happen 10 years from now, 15 years from now? So that's what excites me about this. It's not just being part of it, but it is exciting. When you walk into those doors and you see those young people and they are learning and they're proud to be there and they're connected and they are there and one city has created a sense of purpose. And so I would welcome and I would encourage as a board member and as a board chair for years, we always say, if you want to know what's happening at one city, walk in, visit, and see those kids.
And I mean, you've created a totally different culture in the school. I mean, it's embedded in culture, literally. I mean, there's music upon walking in the doors. You know, you've got, the kids are truly engaged over there versus the public schools. You know, like you're very hands-on with them too. So, I mean, it's different in a lot of ways. Would you like to speak to that?
Yeah, you know, people notice it. I let other people share a lot when they come through. They give, you know, they'll take a tour. I don't give any tours.
Really?
No, I have other team members that do it because I want them to. I want to hear at the end.
Right.
What'd you
take
think?
Away from it? Yeah.
And you know, they'll go through classrooms in our elementary, middle school. They'll visit our preschool. You always hear three things. One is the joy. They see our kids are joyful, our staff are joyful, and this is hard work, man.
It is.
And we're working with the highest need population in Dane County. We have 92% students of color, 500 kids between our preschool and elementary. We have 70% kids in poverty, trending towards 80%, and 20% students with special education needs, trending towards 30%. And there's no individual public school or district in Dane County or in this area of Wisconsin that has anything close to that.
Anything like that.
But yet, you come in our school, you wouldn't notice that because you don't see that in the behavior of our kids or the attitudes or behaviors of our staff. The other thing that you'll see is, you know, kids engaged in learning. Mm-hmm. They are engaged. You know, they're doing the work that they have to do. You don't see children running the hallways and, you know, hanging out outside. You just don't see it. And then the third thing is you will see a higher percentage of parents, especially if you come in the morning and afternoon. And if you look close enough, you'll see a much higher percentage of fathers. A lot of our dads are dropping their kids off, picking them up at school and getting to know each other, getting to know the families, getting to know our staff. Those things stand out.
And I mean, I absolutely think that stands out. I mean, it's an essential in building community and again, in transformational change. You know, in our other schools, you just see the bus lines, you see moms dropping off, you know, so to see dads out there, to see a strong male presence in the school, like that's important for the kids, for the youth, and especially in underrepresented parts of the community, for kids of color. Like, that's really important.
The other thing you see, like for us when we're out in the public, so we have athletics from kindergarten through eighth grade. And we're like, why is that? Because we have this scarcity model when it comes to our kids. It costs so much. Maybe you got to cut back on this and that. Our belief is our children deserve a high quality childhood.
Yeah.
And high quality childhood is when a child can dream about something and see something, they can actually experience it.
Yeah.
And then they buy in. If they can't experience anything that they see and they don't see their families experiencing it, why do I have to believe you when you say education's going to pay off for me? So you go to our athletic events, you go to volleyball, we're always the brownest team on the court. You go to flag football, we're the brownest team on the court. Basketball, we're now in the Madison Independent School League with Queen of Peace and St. James. Our kids won the championship this year, first time in.
That's amazing.
Our eighth graders, our girls went to the semis. And so, or went to the finals and lost. But, we're seeing the inclusion of our students. They're in camping, they're doing that. They're doing golf, and now Top Golf is going to move in next to us.
That's
and
really
off
cool.
the belt line. I'm like, I'm looking for some free memberships for my kids.
Kids, right?
We got the next Tiger Woods over here,
Absolutely.
So
And
those are things that really distinguish us, is that we're really trying to get our kids into things that people in this community find of value. Our kids ice skate. Like, how many black kids do you know ice skate in Madison? There were quite a few when I was growing up, not anymore.
It's hard to find a rink,
You come to one city, a lot of our kids can skate.
Nice.
Yeah, because it's a part of the culture.
When you what year did you open One City Schools?
We opened, the organization started in 2014, and we opened our preschool in 2015 that fall. And then we opened elementary school in 2018 and the middle school in 2022.
So in 2015, 2018, like, how many students were enrolled?
Back then, I'd have to look at it. It was a little over 200 kids.
And then currently 2025, if you're looking at...
We're at 486.
That's amazing, man.
Yeah, man.
That's amazing growth. And Noble Ray, you've seen this transformation in our community. You've seen the change in our community. You've seen the benefit. Can you tell us a little bit about watching that change happen firsthand?
Yeah, the change is this. The image of the demographic that Kaleem is talking about, Madison and other cities have this view of that demographic as people that need services, that are drained. And I tell the story as a police officer coming in and seeing young people that are being arrested at a holding cell and looking up. And you wonder if they have lost hope. But here's where the change comes in. Not only the change, but the results that we're starting to see at One City. And that's so critical to talk about, the academic results. But where the change comes in is when you start talking about academic excellence, and when kids are engaging, they're socializing, they're working not only with parents, but with teachers, and the community is involved. It's not just a situation where it's Kaleem or the board. We have so many community partners that are involved in our success. We've got, donors that have been with us for long periods of time, wanting to see this success. As someone who has been all over the country working with cities and communities that have been challenged, one of the first things that changes a community is foundational, and I've said it before and I'll keep saying it, is education. You cannot change the criminal justice system because that's what people look at. That's a short-term fix. Yeah. This is a long-term fix. This takes time. And, we generally will say, we'll get frustrated with our young people when they make mistakes. But this right here, we've got to invest, not only invest our time, our precious resources, but when it's all said and done, we've got to have some results. And we are starting to see results at One City. And I'm sure Kaleem can really frame some of those things that we're starting to see.
So what are you seeing in the results over the past 5 to 8 years, 10 years?
Yeah, I'll keep recent because the pandemic imploded a lot of us.
Yeah.
Our academic results took a nosedive, but coming out of the pandemic, that last school year, 2023-24, we saw the greatest increase in student achievement among African American Latino students in our communities ever seen. We went from 2% of our black students reading at grade level to 21%.
Wow.
And that was at all grade levels 3 through 8. And then you had 16% of our Latino students were reading at grade level right after the pandemic. And then last year we went up to 42%.
Wow.
And when you looked at our 3rd and 4th grade, we're at near 30, and I believe it was near 60% for Latino students, 40 for black students. And it's phenomenal, man. And when you look at the growth of it, you look downstream as our kids continue to grow, we expect to see even better results for our kids. It's hard to hold those results because also our kids are highly mobile,
right,
and they move a lot.
They do.
Because of poverty and rents go up, they move, but a lot of them come back, which is interesting. We also have a high staff retention. Last year we had 95% of our staff return, and you don't see that much in education. Our parent-teacher conferences, we were at 100%, but now because of attendance issues and stuff, we're closer to 80%, but still higher than you see. Yeah.
It's a good percentage.
Exactly.
I mean, for what day and age, I mean, compared to the other schools in Madison.
And we've raised nearly $50 million to support our school.
Wow.
Since 2015, and all but $1.2 million of that has come from Dane County.
That's amazing.
So it shows we've got a lot of community support.
Absolutely. I know that, as a father and a community member, seeing other families have children that are enrolled, they like their kids there. They like to keep them there. They want to see them there, as long as they can through their educational journey. So like I know that One City is resonating in our community. So to be able to help you, spread this awareness and this message, what are the grade levels that you're enrolling for?
So we're enrolling right now K through 8. Maryland would know. I think we have some spaces in 7th and 8th grade. But I encourage families all just continue enrolling up to the day of school, because we will continue to enroll into the school year if we have any spaces available. But we always have families enroll. We'll always be over enrolled, and people move. Yeah. And so folks on a waiting list, there'll be people who can get in. So we just tell people keep enrolling. And we want all the kids. So
do you enroll mid-year in every opportunity you get, or is it kind of?
So generally we'll enroll up to October 15th, unless we see that there's a lot of pressure in one room or classroom where we'll have too many kids on the wait list, we'll cut it off. Right. But typically it's to October 15th. But our preschool, which serves children ages 2 and 3 also, our 4K program is free. But that's part of the public schools. But our 2 and 3-year-olds will enroll year round. We also have, for people who are interested in working at One City, we also have a staff-only child care center for children who are infants 3 months old to 1 year old. It's on site at our Broadway building where our elementary and middle schools are subsidized by us. So for infant care, our teachers pay $240 a week.
That's an amazing salary, though, compared to some other opportunities out there.
That's right.
So you have a new campus that you guys have been on for the older education. Tell Madison about what the new facility is like. It's right on the Beltline. You got a nice big flag out there now. We can see it. We see the kids out there playing. I'm excited about it every time I drive by.
Yeah, we've got our signs up and stuff now. So it's a 157,000 square foot building. It's called the Pleasant Rowland Leadership Campus, and that's because she's the one who helped us buy that building. She literally gave us the money to totally buy it and put some money towards renovation. She's been a huge support for us. And then we also are on 13.5 acres there. We also have the preschool building, which is almost 11,000 square feet, and that's about 3/4 of an acre that's on, right next to the Boys and Girls Club on the south side on Fisher Street. And so, we have kids over there from 2 to 4 years old. And then the little infants and 1-year-olds for our staff are on site at the Broadway building. And that's where our K through 8 program is.
Gotcha. And that facility in itself is just really amazing. The renovations that you did from the former building to bring it.
And we're still not done.
Yeah.
So we still have two floors to renovate. And our goal is to get those renovated by fall of next year. And that's going to cost us about another $15 million to totally finish the campus. So if anybody listening here doesn't like their money, or they just feel like be charitable and they want to invest in education, we will definitely take that money.
Okay. Noble Ray, you wanted to add to that?
I did want to add to that. As part of this, we do recognize that we have an excellent public school system here. Mm-hmm. Madison Metropolitan School District is an excellent public school, and we partner with them. We have a great relationship with Joe Gothard.
Okay.
And Kaleem and Joe Gothard, they talk on a constant basis, and we learn and share from each other. That's the relationship that we want. But we also understand that we've got a diversity, not only a diversity of kids, but diversities of ways of learning, methodology, and kids' education, young people's education is too important to lock ourselves in and not explore different ways, either by, tapping into the family, tapping into the community, and sharing that information back and forth. Like I mentioned earlier, that experimental police district, we inform the rest of the policing field on certain strategies and certain things that you can do. And so we're not working apart from Madison Metropolitan School District. We're working in concert with them. And we think when it's all said and done, the collective effort in this area is going to improve, and we can support and help each other. And I just think that it's a critical point to make, that we are working in partnership.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So how can the community support and help keep One City schools moving?
So the first thing is we're in our 10th anniversary. Mm-hmm. This year we're celebrating it. Number one, we'd love for people to come to our event on July 10th at the Sylvie. Doors open at 6 o'clock, and we're going to start out with a reception, and then we have LeVar Burton coming, Mr. Star Trek, a.k.a. the Reading Rainbow, and the Right to Read, and Roots, and everything else he's done.
I mean, the resume is deep there, but that's also really resonates the message of One City schools, too.
Yes, and Dr. Gloria Ladson-Billings is going to be on stage having a conversation with him, and people will get to meet him. But we also have some other invited guests coming. So that's one way that's coming up, that people can help our 8th grade promotion, our first one, where they're going to be moving on to 9th grade. That'll happen at True Stage the next day. That was where we launched One City Schools on May 7th, 2015.
Wow.
And or March 7th, 2015. It was the same night Tony Robinson got shot. And so, we didn't get a lot of press, but there was a lot of good feeling coming out of that about One City. So we're coming back home to True Stage to graduate our first class. So that'll be another way for the community to come and participate if they'd like. But the other thing is, we need their support financially to help us finish this facility.
Yes.
We may need their help politically to help us get the support that we need out of the state legislature. People don't realize this, that One City gets half of the public funding that Madison gets.
Right.
So Madison will spend about $26,000 per pupil, just like us, but they get 100% of their funds publicly. They can get property tax money. They can go to referendum if they need more. I have to go to donors.
Right.
So 49.6% of our budget is funded privately, but we have a public school accountability where we have to meet the needs of kids. So this year, I had a child in a wheelchair, and call a donor and ask for additional $43,000 to serve that student, because legally we're obligated to, but the state doesn't provide for that legal obligation for us. And so we need the community to understand how we're funded, but that we need their continued support.
Absolutely.
And then lastly, we need them to know what we're trying to build. And so I have this book that I brought in called First Class, The Legacy of Dunbar's America's First Black Public High School. It's in Washington, D.C. People have looked at One City and said that word charter. They're trying to kill public schools or whatever. And charter schools were meant to be transformational sources of transformation for public education, where the unions recognized. Al Shanker was the head of the American Federation of Teachers who really drove this in the 80s and early 90s. He said, we need a place to innovate because our schools are too wrapped in red tape. They become too cumbersome, too large, too difficult to change. If we could have these islands of excellence that we could build and construct with educators, we could learn from them and then start to use that to re-engineer public education. Well, that's what we're trying to do at One City with our charter school. But we're trying to build a school of excellence. We want to produce the absolute best students to ever come out of this community. So this isn't a charity school. This isn't a school where if you come with the mindset that they just need a little bit of this, they just need a little bit of that, they just need some bus fare to get to school. No. We're producing the next Thurgood Marshall at my school.
Absolutely. I
We're
mean,
producing this Madam C.J. Walker at this school. We're producing the next Paul Soglin at this school, the next Noble Ray at this school, the next Shea at this school. That's what we're doing. Absolutely. And so when you come through, you'll see kids who look like everybody in this community. It's mostly black and brown students. We have white students too. All of them are coming to our school with the understanding that we expect them to go out in this community and to be the leaders and philanthropists and people that we need tomorrow. Fortunately, with No Child Left Behind, which I was a part of, I was appointed by the Bush administration to the panel that advised U.S. Congress on No Child Left Behind from 2002, the valuation of it from 2002 to 2007. That's our nation's education law. I was the youngest at the table with my friend Tasha Tillman. I think we're both the same age. And I was shocked that what we ended up with was an unfunded mandate. Wow. It was all about now testing kids. Now everybody's looking at a test score to determine if that school is great. What are they teaching the kids?
But what are they teaching them?
I could literally teach you, Shay, that you suck.
Without saying it,
I could literally give you a book and just tell you 100 ways that you suck. But I could do it with phonemic awareness, right? I could give you the science of reading, and you could show me you could read. But what are you going to do with that? So we've lost by this high stakes testing that we're doing of our kids, and everybody looking at that as the thing that's going to make the difference.
Right. Yeah.
But now we're looking at that as that's the difference. No, we need kids that actually care about the planet, kids that care about their neighbor, kids that care about people who grew up in rural communities and seniors who are struggling to live just like young people who growing up in poverty are. Because they're the ones that have to make the difference later. So that's what we're trying to do at One City. So if people want to support a school that is really trying to produce young people that'll go out here and make a positive difference in the world, who also can read, write, and compute, we'd love to have their support at One City.
Absolutely. I think it's an amazing resource that you've made available to the Madison community. The growth, I think, shows that the community has accepted that. So to be able to help you elevate that voice and that message, is just an absolute honor. Let's talk a little bit about Thursday, July 10th. You have an event you're putting together at the Sylvie. It's a fundraiser event. You're hoping to raise some money. You got a couple floors that you got to finish yet. You've got all kinds of other needs that need to be met, and you got athletic systems and programs that need to be met. What's the purpose and where are the funds going that are being raised Thursday, July 10th at the Sylvie?
So, they're going to go towards our operations first. We have to keep the schools open. We'll relaunch our capital campaign this fall. But what we want to do, it's a rally for education.
Okay.
We went back and leaned on our mission. Is really also Mr. Noble Ray here was like, yo, guys, if we got all this money to raise, I'm not okay with just having a celebration about One City. So that forced us. He was right. We looked back and said, let's lean on our mission. What are we here for? We're here to galvanize the community around the needs of kids. So let's have a rally. Yeah. And so it serves two purposes. We're trying to bring friends, we're trying to raise friends. We want people who aren't in the know about One City or the needs of our kids in Wisconsin to be at that event.
Come be there.
So they can hear and learn. And with LeVar, he has a lot of contextual knowledge along with Dr. Ladson-Billions, who's one of the world's premier educators, to hear from them and learn with them and then hear from others who are going to be on that stage, see our kids perform. See the people who've invested money, see what you've produced when you come. That's what's going to be empowering to people. But it's a rally. Get ready for a New Orleans-style rally because that's what's going to happen when you open those doors.
Lots of energy.
So, it's all about feeling good about what we're producing for the future.
Right.
And so they can go to weareonecity.org, weareonecity.org, and buy their ticket. They can also go straight to the Sylvie's website and do that and get them there too. And we want to see people. We want to fill the place up. We can have over 700 people in there, and we want to have a full. But we want people who want to be involved with helping to move kids forward in this state and in this community.
Well, and you guys are doing it wholeheartedly. Noble Ray, I thank you for taking the time to set this up, and Kaleem, thank you for taking the time to come back again and just kind of update us. Something that really has resonated, with your business, but not just between us, is it takes a village to raise a child. It doesn't just take one person, one family. It takes all of us, and these children are our future. So what the energy, the focus that you're putting in at One City Schools, like that's what Madison's about. That's what Madison needs.
Let me say this one last thing. You've also been a part of that village. You interviewed me back when we were first opening that building, but also Midwest Family Broadcasting was the first place that we actually paid to have advertising for our schools.
Well, it's an honor to be able to, bring it full circle and still be a part of that journey. And, I'm hoping that Thursday, July 10th, everybody's going to come out to the Sylvie and support your event. Mr. Reading Rainbow, man, the knowledge on him, man, it's going to be so deep. But, if you're really interested, Madison, onecityschools.org. It's an amazing website. It's an amazing program. But, you can look at them 24 hours a day here. But like you said, I think the best way to really get a feel is to just come down.
That's right.
You're open 5 days a week, probably somebody there on the weekends too.
Oh, we always do tours. Yeah.
When's the best time if somebody wanted to, come by and get a tour?
Give us a call at 608-268-8004. That's the easier number to remember, 608-268-8004. Or go on our website at onecityschools.org. Either way, you can request a tour. You can go on there. The calendar will pop up where you can literally sign up to take a tour. And our team members, primarily Marilyn and her team, but then also for people that want to come through, want to donate, we have Ms. Gail Wiseman.
Too, yeah.
Oh, yeah. They're the best. Those two are the best at giving tours. We love doing it.
Nice. I love it. Well, maybe we got to get some of your students up here and get them some tours of some of the communication studios and stuff that we got here.
That would be great.
And just really make that happen. So, Noble Ray, Kaleem, thank you guys. Madtown.
Thank you.
July 10th, Thursday, July 10th at the Sylvie. Doors are at 6. More information can be found at onecityschools.org or
weareonecity.org.
There you go. Guys, thanks for coming through.
Thank you.
Thank you.